Hey everyone, it's JB. I wanted to take a minute to go over a couple of things with you guys concerning safety on the road when you're driving next to a truck, more specifically a big rig, 18-wheeler, semi, big trucks. The first thing that I wanted to address is the blind spots of a large truck. On our passenger side, the right-hand side of the vehicle is pretty much all a blind side. Even with the mirrors, it's some visibility, but it doesn't give us the same kind of vision that a typical driver would have. In a regular vehicle, you have rear mirrors in the middle of your windshield, and you have the windows in the back. We don't have that. As you can kind of sort of see behind me, it's just a solid back of the cab. I can't see you. And even if it was open, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be able to see underneath the window. So if you're passing a truck on the highway or, a two-lane road in your city, try to pass them on the driver's side. You've got a better chance of being seen, and therefore you're safer. Secondly, stopping. When there's let's say, bad traffic on the highway, or driving through town, there's a bunch of stoplights. First of all, it takes us a lot to get this thing going, especially fully loaded. Secondly, it takes a lot to stop. 9 times out of 10, we're loaded pretty heavily. So not only are we in a truck that weighs 15,000, 18,000 pounds by itself at the least, but then we've got a loaded weight. Always assume that a big rig is loaded with 80,000 pounds total. Trying to stop 80,000 pounds is ridiculous, and it's not going to happen very quickly. Going 55 miles an hour on a dry surface, concrete, asphalt, it takes 300 yards, 3 football fields, for me to be able to slow down from 55 to a dead stop. And a lot of times you don't have that much time. There's certain instances where, somebody might run a red light, then there's an accident, and then you cutting me off to get around the accident puts you at risk, puts me at risk, puts everybody else on the road at risk. I know everybody's got families that they want to get home to, be it, your mom and your dad, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your boo, husband, wife, kids, nieces, nephews, whatever the case may be. We all have family, we all have people who care about us, and we want to make it home safe. So, I just wanted to give a few really important tips, because there's too much that goes on these roads. I see it every day. Drivers cut me off on a regular basis. They'll pass me on my blind side. They'll, cut right in front of me, giving me less than a foot between my front fender and the back of their car. If something happens and they lose it, my truck is going right over the top of them. And because they made a stupid decision, I'm going to jail, because I'm supposed to be a trained professional. Professional drivers, even though we go through training consistently on a daily basis, whether or not it's formal training, we see different conditions, different places, different times of the year. If you're in an area where it ices or snows really badly in the wintertime, give the trucks a little bit of space. It's a combination vehicle, which means that the trailer moves separately from the actual truck itself. If we have to brake hard and fast because a person from the motoring public cuts us off and we lock up our brakes, either our tractor is going to turn into a skid or our trailer is going to go into a skid. and then you have a jackknife truck on the freeway. That's dangerous for everybody, including the driver. If we can't get it to come out of the skid, we're going to take out a lot of people and cause a lot of havoc on the roadway. Please, give us some space. You know, we deliver everything that you have at home. Anything and everything that's in your house right now has been on a truck at some point. Give us some space, you know. There are a lot of these guys out here driving that aren't really all that considerate, but it's not everybody. The company that I drive for now, I haven't seen too many of them act a fool, but a lot of other smaller companies or larger companies have drivers that are pretty inconsiderate. When you're behind a truck, assume that it's going to take him a minute to speed up. Don't get in a rush. Don't freak out and go all aggressive driver on him, because he's got the mentality that I'm bigger than you, and you know, my trailer is 53 feet. With my truck itself, we end up being right around 75 feet. It's a lot of space. 75 feet for a car to get past us is plenty of room for an inconsiderate driver to force you off to the side of the road, force you to an exit ramp that maybe you weren't planning on taking. A building, a light pole. I've seen it happen. I've seen motoring public pull in front of a truck, causing him to go into a skid or run him off the road because he's not trying to kill anybody, and the trucks roll over. If a truck like mine rolls over, what happens first is the trailer goes, and then it snaps the cab down on the ground, kind of like a whip effect. If it rolls to the driver's side, that driver is more than likely going to suffer a severe injury or die, all because you wanted to get around him and you know, curse him out for going too slow. We're heavy. We're not going to go as fast as you. Even empty, a lot of these trucks don't do more than maybe 75, 80, unless, you know, they're privately owned. The company I drive for, we have a device, a governor on our trucks that keeps us from going over 65 with our accelerator. And we, if going downhill, cannot allow our trucks to reach over 75 because it's an unsafe operating speed. So, you know, you see a truck going slow, kindly move to the left and go around him. You know, we're doing a public service. This is what we do to support our families. And for those of you who don't necessarily understand what it takes to be a driver, some of these guys are on the road for months at a time before they get to see their wife, their kids, their girlfriends, you know, their nieces, nephews, grandkids. We miss out on a lot to make sure that stuff is getting from point A to point B. And you go to work every day or go to school every day right down the street from your home and complain about, oh, it's a 30-minute drive and I got to get there. Leave a little early. We drive 7, 8, 10 hours a day trying to get your makeup, your clothes, your shoes, your food, ice cream, diapers, all that from the shipper to the receiver. And I personally wanted to inform you all of what some of the hazards are and ask for a little bit of courtesy on the roads. I don't know how many people are going to see this. I don't know how many people are going to listen to it. I don't even know how many people are going to think that I'm actually serious. This is what I do. I don't make a whole lot of money doing it, but I do it because, you know, it has to be done. I got bills to pay. I have a house that I don't get to see that often. You know, every weekend now with this company that I'm with, before, I'd be out on the road a month and a half, 2 months, and I miss out on so much. something else that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with trucking, but more so with the family aspect of life, is anybody who's in a relationship, anybody who's got family, don't take it for granted. I haven't seen my parents since 2008. It's almost 2013.
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
It's kind of hard to know that I've been to California plenty of times driving, and I've got to see my cousin, and I got to see my younger brother for the first time since 2008. But, you know, I have a fiance, and I don't get to spend the time with her that I would like to. I don't get to, you know, come home from work complaining about my job and, you know, hope that, you know, she's gonna, you know, get on me about being a crybaby or give me a back rub and say, baby, it's gonna be okay. You never know what it's gonna be like when you're away until you're actually gone, and, you know, not out of the relationship or out of the situation, but just away from it. And it gets deep, let me tell you, because being on the road, you you end up talking to the radio. You end up talking to other drivers that really can't hear you. There's not a whole lot of entertainment unless you hook your truck all the way up. And not everybody has the luxury of doing that. So those moments on the phone or on Uvu, some sort of video chat, those mean a lot. And for that to be preoccupied, for that time to be preoccupied by other people, be it friends, family members, acquaintances, associates, you know, it can get overbearing at times. And I don't like to be such a ass about it, but when I don't get my time, it bothers me, because everybody else is getting the time that either I could be getting or we could be sharing with our friends. Take every moment and enjoy it. I don't know what could happen on this road. I could get hit by a windstorm and roll my truck. I could get into a car accident. I could hit an ice patch and go off the edge of a mountain. You know what I mean? There's so much that could happen to me over the road, and getting, you know, 34 hours at home to reset my DOT, Department of Transportation clock, just isn't enough. It's appreciated, you know, but it doesn't seem like enough time for me to let people know that I care, for me to let my woman know that I enjoy every second around her. I kind of get in my feelings when, you know, she's relaxed and wants to sleep all day, you know, because I want to spend time with her. I want to do things, you know, whether it's a walk to Stone Mountain Park or a walk around Piedmont Park in Atlanta, you know, I mean, or even if we just go sit downstairs and talk to each other, sit in our room and talk to each other, go window shopping, just spending time. You know, I wish I had more time. If there was an opportunity for me to have a regular job and do regular things like regular people, I'd run with it. But the job market is kind of off right now. But I like what I do. So don't take your family and your relationships for granted. Be safe on the roadways. Give trucks some space. If you're going to get around them, get around them. Otherwise, fall back a little bit. For your safety, for their safety, for everybody's safety. Construction zones, I do the speed limit or a mile an hour or less than what it says, because those workers are really in a dangerous position. Plus, speeding fines are doubled, and CDL drivers get hit a lot harder with fines than a Class C driver. So, slow it down, be careful, be safe, respect each other on the road, because at the end of the day, you guys are all trying to get from point A to point B. Work, school, home, friend's house, water park, amusement park, something. Be safe is the key. I don't mean to rant and be rhetorical, but at the same time I do. Maybe you'll listen. Maybe you'll take something that I said seriously. I look forward to my time at home, and I don't want to have that taken by anybody, and I don't want to take that from anybody. So, just be careful out there. Alright.